In today's show, the Thunder makes it to the second round of the NBA playoffs, and how much would a natural gas car actually save you at the pump?
Also, how firefighters train. And famous musician Bob Wills is celebrated at the state capitol. Now, we have a full show, but we're going to start off with what everyone is talking about.
Of course, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're now in the second round of the playoffs. We wanted to show you how the second round began. Kevin Durant scored 35 points, Kevin Martin added 25, but it was the defense that sealed Oklahoma City's 93-91 win over Memphis in Game 1, the Western Conference semifinals.
The Thunder's slogan of "Team is one" has never rang more true than it did in Game 1 of Oklahoma City's second round playoff series against Memphis on Sunday afternoon. Sure, Kevin Durant still did all the heavy lifting with his usual 35 points and 15 rebounds, but boy, were the role players crucial late in the game. Derek Fisher, all 38 years old of him, had a critical steal late off Michael Conley. That ball ended up in KD's hands, and he hit the pull-up jumper to give the Thunder the lead for good with only 11 seconds remaining. Then Thabo Sefolosha forced Conley out of bounds on an inbounds pass to give Oklahoma City possession. And finally, Reggie Jackson hit two huge free throws with only 2.9 seconds remaining as Oklahoma City wins Game 1 93-91 over Memphis.
That's what we pride ourselves in, is defensive toughness. And I thought tonight's game, both teams, this is going to be a series like this. You have to earn every inch of the court, and I thought that was an important aspect of our fourth quarter defense. We weren't allowing easy catches, we weren't allowing easy dribbles, we weren't allowing easy shots, and we were getting rebounds.
You know, we made a good defensive play, and they have such a great team defense, and I just wanted to get it up the floor as quick as possible and find a shot, and that was the only shot I can find, and by the grace of God, it went in. So. Our teammates, did a great job of setting me up all game. I missed some easy ones, some chippies, and, I was able to hit that one.
Being confident in your game, not letting one game affect you, even though it was a really bad one. Just trying to stick with the plan and trust in my craft. I knew it was just going to come down to me, but I had great support. This whole locker room, even the organization was texting me, so it just came all the way around, and I was grateful for that moment.
Heard you after the game, you saw you give D. Fish a hug. How inspiring is it to see a guy 15 years older than you still make the great defensive plays and make the plays when it counts in the clutch?
Man, I didn't know he's only 15 years older than me, but it's great. I mean, a guy like that, he's such a competitor battling. Seems like he always does everything right, so he picked it up. Had a poor game today, and he really picked it up, and he was out there in the fourth battling and getting it done. He was a tremendous part of our team, and he really helped us get this win today.
My role's different than it's been over the years, and so when I'm in the game, I'm literally just trying to do whatever I can to help the team win. I'm not going to get a lot of shots. Sometimes I'm not going to get a lot of minutes, but there are a lot of things that I know I can do to still help this team win. That's what I'm here for, and even on the days where I'm 0 for 4 and it looks like things aren't going well, I'm still just excited about being a part of this particular team, because even on those days, I know I'm still doing something that can help us win.
At the end of the day, I thought we stuck with our defensive principles. We limit their paint points, and they had a lot of contested tools. We'll live with that, and I think just offensively we will be better next game. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a defensive game. It's going to be ugly throughout the whole series, and it's just what it is.
So while Serge Ibaka, Nick Collison, and Kendrick Perkins struggled mightily on the offensive end on Sunday, they still did their job for the most part, keeping Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph from dominating in the paint. Oklahoma City out-rebounded Memphis 43-41, outscored Memphis 36-32 in the paint, and kept the Grizzlies to only 4 second-chance points.
Our sports reporters have plenty of analysis and coverage of all the games from the regular season and the playoffs. The Thunder's upcoming games are May 7th, and then not again until Saturday, May 11th, and then the 13th.
Now, when you drive by a natural gas station, it may make you envious of the prices compressed natural gas car owners are paying at the pump compared to fuel prices for regular gasoline cars. Energy editor with the Oklahoman, Adam Wilmoth, just purchased his first CNG car and took us for a drive.
I've been driving a 98 Chevy Lumina for several years, and it's been a good car, but was ready to retire it. And I was looking for a new car, I really just needed a commuter car. When my family's all together on the weekend, we drive my wife's van. And I just needed a car to get from home and more up here to the office and back. And so I wasn't looking for anything big and fancy. I was looking for something that would give me good gas mileage, and so I looked to a CNG vehicle. So this car runs on natural gas. Now I can fill up for as little as 79 cents a gallon at the station by my house. The stations up here are about $1 or so. Still quite a bit cheaper than I had been paying for gasoline. It took me a while to figure out how to attach the hose to the nozzle. It's very different from a regular gasoline tank where you just stick the nozzle in. And you've actually got to attach it and then pressurize it, and then turn it on, and then it'll fill pretty quickly. And then once it goes, you can hear it'll fill for a little bit, and then it'll stop and repressurize and fill again. But it really doesn't take much longer than a regular tank to fill. And since it is only 8 gallons, it's pretty quick.
Now, get this. Adam says he recently paid $2.93 for 3.7 gallons in his new car, which, with gas prices where they are now, would probably be about $12 for a gasoline-powered car. So that's at least a $10 difference.
That's amazing.
That's ridiculous.
That's some savings that'll show up.
I know, and that's just for 3.7 gallons. So yeah, overall, it's going to save you quite a bit.
It's like groceries. Gas is something you just have to have.
Yeah.
And it kind of dings you sometimes when it's like, really? Prices are going up?
I know, and obviously the hard thing is there's not a ton of those gas stations all around the city yet, or whatever you call them. I guess they're not gas stations, but anyway, CNG stations. So that might be a little bit tricky, but yeah, it's a great idea.
All right, coming up, Sandridge changes its building plans and how that may affect the community.
And speaking of buildings in downtown Oklahoma City, how firefighters are using old abandoned structures for training. That's coming up.
Everyone gets excited on game day. With the Oklahoman Full Access, you can get your sports news any way you like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, and our digital archives, starting as low as $12 a month. And it's free to current print subscribers. Log on to newsok.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
Hello, this is Mary. I can help you.
Hi, my grandma wants to know how to record my show.
Press the guide button on the remote.
Abuelita, toca el botón guide.
Now find your show on the screen and press record.
Ahora busca el programa en la
pantalla.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
Everyone has their morning routine. With the Oklahoman Full Access, you can get your morning news any way you like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, and our digital archives, starting as low as $12 a month. And it's free to current print subscribers. Log on to theoklahoman.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
Sandridge Energy is halting expansion of its campus and converting 2 buildings under construction into leasable office space. Sandridge Energy currently employs 713 people in the 29-story Sandridge building, formerly known as Kerr-McGee Tower.
Renovations are wrapping on the last 2 floors of the tower, and the building is able to house 900 workers. But now there are some changes Sandridge will have to make, but the company isn't seeing the changes bad, more as an opportunity to connect with the community.
The project is still advancing. The site work all around the building will be done this summer. The Braniff building, which is just a beautiful building, that will be done Q3 of this year, and then right across the street to the south of us, that building will be completed Q3 of 2014. With some recent developments, which also includes our Permian divestiture, we won't be growing at the same rate that we once were. And so this space has been reprioritized, and instead of us using it, we are being consistent with the whole theme of the Commons, which is welcoming the public into the space. We're going to be leasing out the Braniff, and then we'll also turn what was once the amenities building into leasable space there as well. So really a gift to Oklahoma City to have some more Class A real estate space. It really is a beautiful space. So what once was some dilapidated buildings has really become a beautiful place where people come already and sit, eat lunch here, as you can see, riding their bikes, sitting down and reading a book. This has really become a nice public space already. The building across the street will look just like on the outside like what we've submitted before. The Braniff building, I think it's one of the most unique and beautiful buildings, not just in our city, but of any major city that I visited. The Kitchen 324 has really blown us away as far as its success and its opening, and the Barber Salon has done very well too. So we think that this is going to be a prime spot. People are really going to want to be here. One of the things that you see is we are finishing our developments, and although we may not be growing at the rate that we first thought, we are going to be growing. And so all this space that is here, a part of our headquarters, is still our space, and we do believe that we'll grow into it at some point.
And a spokesperson helping lease the Sandridge property says the demand for Class A downtown office space is at a 30-year high with vacancy rates of just 5%. So it doesn't sound like they'll have any trouble leasing out the buildings. And I must admit the Sandridge building has a special place in my heart. I remember jumping off the 30-story Sandridge building a couple summers ago to help support Special Olympics, and that was a thrill of a lifetime. Obviously, I wouldn't do it now.
It was you and Rumble that day, right?
Yeah, and a few other. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. My gosh, it was. It was not. I wasn't super nervous. It was more like a little bit painful because it's very tight. Everything's very tight. But anyway, it was for a good cause.
I said it at the time. I'll say it again. There's no way I would do that.
It was for a good cause. It was fun.
All right, abandoned buildings just south of downtown Oklahoma City will be filled with smoke and punched full of holes this spring before they're demolished and replaced by a park. Oklahoma City firefighters are using the buildings between Robinson and Harvey Avenues on Southwest 5th and Southwest 6th to practice real-time firefighting tactics.
Today we're doing our citywide training, which we've kind of changed up this year a little bit. We do what's normally called drill ground evolutions, and we've acquired some structures down here on 5th and Robinson, and we've tried to make it a little more realistic, a little more hands-on training, which I think is the best. We're able to use smoke machines in here. We're able to actually cut on the buildings. We're able to use smudge pots and use live smoke. And it's obviously we can do large area searches. So it's something out of the norm. It's a chance for us to make sure our guys are up to par. And annually, this is something we do. This is the first time that I know of that we've acquired a structure like this, or several structures. So that was kind of nice. This stage right here is the Rapid Intervention Team. That is a team that is designated on a fire alarm. Their sole purpose is to rescue one of our individuals if they go down, or a crew. We dispatch them just like there's a mayday and an individual's down. They go in as a team. It's live smoke, it's dark, they can't see. They're able to use thermal imagers and a search rope, and they have to work together as a team and communicate, find the victim, change them over to a fresh air bottle, and then get them out and all stay together. That is our fire attack station. What we're doing here is we're getting individuals used to using a large diameter hand line, so we're having them Metro load or Pro load, a 2.5-inch hand line, which is very tough to handle. And what we're trying to get across here is how to work pinch points and how to help guys out. You know, everybody wants to go fight the fire, but oftentimes we forget about pinch points, doors, corners that we got to get around. So that particular scenario helps them communicate as a team going in as a fire attack crew, and then work on those friction points and pinch points. We've been very pleased, and what we've told these individuals, these companies, we've had 12 companies come down just today on our shift. We've told them this is not a punitive, we're not here to chastise you, but we want you to take something out of here that maybe you didn't know. And every one of them I've talked to has learned something from this. I think overall it's been a great success.
About 850 firefighters will be trained in the buildings through June, from the newest in the department to those on the cusp of retirement. None of the buildings are burned during the training.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was really cool how obviously they have to do all the different scenarios of someone being trapped in a building to, punching holes in the roof to, whatever it is. I mean, my goodness, they have to do everything. They have to practice for every scenario that might happen.
It's kind of nice to get a sneak peek, a look at some of the training that goes into that.
I know, very cool. All right, well, coming up next, how to make sure you're getting the right nutrients and supplements for a healthy life.
With the Oklahoman Full Access, we deliver your news any way you'd like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, digital archives, and the new Oklahoman.com. Plans start at only $12 a month. And all this is free to current print subscribers. Log on to Oklahoman.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
I look up to you for all the things you do. I hope to be like you someday soon.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
We're shooting more photos at each assignment, but we're putting those into separate galleries that can be added into the iPad and online editions so that the viewers can see a lot more photographs. We can tell a lot more of the story visually, give them more detailed shots, more overall shots, just a lot more variety that really enriches their experience.
Healthy living is something we can all strive for, but you're probably even more aware of it when you're trying to stay healthy for two people.
That's so right. And a lot of emphasis is put on prenatal vitamins when you're pregnant, which is not a bad thing, but did you know you get a lot of those same vitamins and supplements in your food? Becky Varner fills us in on all the details.
Hey, it's Angie. And Becky. And Becky is the corporate dietitian for Buy for Less. I'm with newsok.com. She also does a food column for the Oklahoman and newsok.com called Recipe for Health. It's a couple times a month. You gotta catch that. It's wonderful, healthy ideas for healthy living. But what we're talking about today is a wonderful series that we've been doing called Bundle of Wellness. And this series is all about healthy pregnancies. I'm due in July, so I'm all about this. Well, Buy for Less and Becky have joined together with News OK to do this series. Today, though, we've been talking about the food groups. What are we talking about today?
Well, we're really talking about the best place to start with nutrition, of course, is a healthy diet. But then we're going to also talk a little bit about supplements that women need to talk with their physician about taking, and because you need so many more nutrients in pregnancy. And, as we have talked about My Plate before, we always want to start with half of the plate being fruits and vegetables. And fruits and vegetables, there's some of the key nutrients in fruits and vegetables are vitamin C, vitamin A, folate. We get a lot of folate, which is a key nutrient that we just want to emphasize during pregnancy. Then the other half of the plate would be the protein sources. And we want to look at the lean protein sources and grains. We want to look at half the plate being whole grains, and then dairy is very important, of course, in healthy pregnancy as for all nutrition. So we want to just emphasize that. That's always the place to start, and the most important place to start. Angie, that's not just during pregnancy. We want to get a head start on that before pregnancy too. One in particular that we want to look at is folate. Folate is very important in the development of the neural tube that is what actually forms the baby's spinal cord and brain. And so folate is a very important nutrient. We get a lot of folate in fresh fruits and vegetables, green leafy especially, citrus like oranges, orange juice is an excellent source of folate. But in addition to that, we want to look at the fortified foods that have folic acid, and it's in the form of folic acid when it's fortified. Grain products, for example, breads, some rices, pastas, cereals is a great place to get a food source that is fortified with extra folic acid. And then in addition to that, a woman would want to talk with her physician about additional folate sources. So that's one of the nutrients that we would consider.
So obviously lots of great nutrients in foods. Another nutrient that we all need is iron.
Iron, and that's a special consideration in pregnancy because the blood volume is increasing so much. And when we think about iron, we think about red meat, poultry, even fish. Lean proteins are great sources of what we call heme iron. That's the most absorbable form of iron. And then there are other sources of iron that would be in vegetables, deep greens. A lot of cereals are fortified with iron as well, and other foods that are fortified with iron. Then we want to look at ways that we can actually increase iron absorption, which having a good source of vitamin C when you're eating a high iron food helps with absorption of that.
There you go. Becky has lots of great ideas, obviously, for healthy pregnancies and overall health. You can actually check out BuyForLessOK.com and YourWellnessOK.com, as well as NewsOK.com, for all of the videos that we've been doing up to this point about healthy pregnancies, great ways to get the food groups integrated into your diet, which is so important. And obviously, your doctor can help you with all the things that you need for healthy pregnancies as well.
Exactly.
What great ideas. Thank you, Becky, so much.
Thank you, Angie.
You know, it's so nice to know there are a variety of foods to choose from when you're trying to eat healthy because, you know, you think, I'm limited, but really you're not.
No,
There's a
you're
lot.
right. Especially the produce section because
Yeah.
there's just a wide range of produce that has tons of good, healthy nutrients and vitamins.
I know it, and I think this little one appreciates it.
Well, speaking of one of my favorite topics, food, there are a lot of amazing places to eat around town, and our own food dude seems to find them all. Dave Cathy recently chatted with Henry Boudreau at the Museum Cafe about his training in Italy and the museum's new spring menu.
Well, we're French-American fusion. I'm leaning more now towards like eclectic. I'm not doing as many, classic beurre blancs, beurre rouges. I'm doing a lot of different gastriques with tropical fruits, and really my goal now is to be as seasonal as possible. And so I'm changing the menu every 3 months around there. And then also what I'm trying to do now is get something that's in season right away, and then I've started pickling and canning so that way I can have stuff for a longer period of time that's only available for 2-3 months. Yeah, I was in Italy for 4 months. I was in northwestern Italy in the Piemonte region, and that's about a 35-minute bus ride to Alba, where the truffles are. And I lived in a small town called Cesole, and it was maybe 75 people, and they were all farmers. And I lived in the agriturismo, and they had a full restaurant. We changed our menu every single day. I would, in the morning I'd have to go decipher this Italian handwritten menu and just pick out a couple words that I knew, and then they would just tell me to go do something. I'd go and collect the chicken eggs to make the pasta. And everything was from scratch. There wasn't like you go to the store, you'd go outside and get it. The neighbor made goat cheese that we put on the menu, and all the fruit and vegetables came from me going out to the garden every morning and getting it. But that's where I learned to make risotto. I thought I knew how to make it, but I showed them, they said, this is wrong. And so I figured, okay, well, they know how to make risotto, I'm not gonna question you. But yeah, and that's why I've got it on my new menu and this current menu.
So people want to know what real risotto is.
Yeah, I made it every day there, and the old Italian grandmother would yell at me in Italian if I did it wrong, so now I think I know how to make proper Italian risotto anyway.
Angie, that's one of those places where every time I go, I have a great time, great meal, and I'm like, I got to come here more often.
I know. It's so good. We love going there for Sunday brunch. Mm-hmm. It is the best.
It looks amazing. It's got a good vibe, good lighting, good feel to it.
I know, and that's very cool, like what he said about that they're starting to change the menu up every, few months or something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's cool. So you can go and always know that it'll be fresh and different.
Like it.
I knew it. All right, well, coming up, Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys were famous for their music. How musicians celebrated Bob Wills at the Capitol. Next.
Social media gives readers a voice that they can interact with us in a way that I don't think they've ever been able to. And it allows us to, include their thoughts and their questions and everything in our content.
Whereas we used to just publish and just tell everybody what the news and entertainment and information was.
the rest of the world wants to engage. They want to talk back. They want us to talk back to them. They want insight, they want opinion, and a lot of that is new culturally for a newspaper.
I look up to you for all the things you do. I hope to be like you someday soon.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
In 2012, we had the largest concentration of Oklahoma musicians to go to South by Southwest ever. Dave Morrison and I, we talked about it as like, let's just do this guerrilla style, okay? We'll shoot 1 or 2 performances by an act, and then we'll get an interview, and we'll get it up as quickly as possible. So that's what we were doing. We ended up with 21 different videos, and those also included some stand-up.
Country music, very popular. It's huge here in Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, I mean, my goodness, look at all the country singers that come from Oklahoma.
You're right. Bob Wills was an American Western swing musician, songwriter, and bandleader. Considered by music authorities as the co-founder of Western swing, he was universally known as the king of Western swing.
He was best known for his band, the Texas Playboys. The band played regularly on a Tulsa, Oklahoma radio station. Recently, musicians gathered to honor Bob Wills by playing several songs at the state capitol.
On May the 1st is Bob Wills Day at the state capitol. You know, that the tradition's been going since 1985, and the Oklahoma State Fiddlers, we're in a corporation that we have different presidents. I'm the president at the present time, and we play this and play other venues. We play a state-owned lodge at Wagner, the Western Hills Lodge, and ranch down there that we play. We have 2 a year there. We'll have 1,000 people from 7 different states and 3 or 4 foreign countries, and just people plan on having 5 big bands playing. Some great musicians there, as you can tell, and have some of them that's in the Western Swing Music Hall of Fame. We have several that's there. We have one that's existing Texas Playboy. We play Western swing music, we play country, traditional country, and just what have you, play all country requests, and have a great time. We play for free. We don't get paid for it. Our organization is clean. You can bring your children or your grandkids or your great-grandkids, our pleasure.
And the Country Music Hall of Fame inducted Wills in 1968, and he received many other awards before and after his death in 1975.
Wow.
So
the music lives on.
I know, he made quite an impact, and it's very cool, obviously, that he, played in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That brings the connection right there. It's just neat. Very cool.
All right, that's all the time we have for this edition of NewsOK TV.
And you can watch all of these videos and much more online at newsok.com. See ya.